Once upon a time, there were two worlds. One was a world torn by endless war, where strong lands devoured weak, and peace was a distant dream. Eventually, only a few great realms remained, glaring at each other across brittle borders. But then came a great king, one who would change this world forever. Chapter 1: The Fall of the House of Tildrum.
My lord, the preparations are complete.
Excellent. Then let us begin.
What was that?
What happened?
I'm Evan Pettiwhisker Tildrum, King of Ding Dong Dell. Who are you?
Never mind who. The question is where? Huh? Well now, would you look at that?
Stay where you are! Wait! Excuse me! What?
What the?
Ugh.
All right.
Hey!
Oh. Well now.
This isn't so easy. Just have to take...
Halt! Intruder! You will go no further! Guards! Seize him!
Hey! What was that noise? In there!
That'll teach me to get trigger happy. They're not here to protect you. Get back.
Over there! You!
Oi!
What?
Hey,
What?
Oi!
sir.
But...
To strike, while our enemy was preoccupied with preparations for the ceremony. This was a very clever strategy indeed, my lord. If only King Leonard had been less robust, he would have succumbed to the poison all the sooner, and our plot would have come to fruition all the more quickly.
What does it matter now? Did we not plan for just such stubbornness on his part? King Leonard's untimely demise was effected without a hitch. Now the only obstacle remaining is the boy.
Yes, my lord. And once he is eliminated, the throne will be ours for the taking.
It is time for Mousekind to assume its rightful place at last.
Lord Mousinger, the boy, he's escaped.
What?
No matter. We will find him soon enough. Or rather, the Black Knight will.
No.
Hey. Mm-hmm. All right.
You're for it now! You!
There they are!
Hey!
What is it?
Yes!
Sir!
Hey?
You won't get away! You!
Looks like the end of the road.
Sorry, Evan. I came as quickly as I could.
Nella!
Evan!
Thank you.
Yes.
What?
No.
But...
Yes. Not far now, Evan.
Oh!
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Thanks.
Who was that now?
That was the Black Knight.
Here goes nothing.
Mind if I do?
Watch your back!
Don't mind if I do. Watch this! Leave this to me! Watch this!
Ready for this?
My work! Oh my! Flippin' heck!
In it though.
Huh.
Yes.
Well now.
Not exactly.
Hmm.
Careful, everyone! Yeah! Come on! Come on! Careful, everyone! I need your help! Yeah!
Uh-huh. Hey. Hello there. Well now.
Oh.
Hey.
Thank you.
Farewell.
I'll do my best. Oh my! Come on! Golly.
Here goes nothing.
Counting on you.
Watch your back!
Look at that.
Watch your back!
Not far now, Evan.
Hey. What the? Well now.
This will be over soon. You're not hurt, are you? Leave this to me. You're not hurt, are you?
Watch your back!
You're not hurt, are you? Leave this to me. Not far now, Evan. This will be over soon. You're not hurt, are you?
Sure. Here goes nothing.
You're not hurt, are you?
Nella!
There you are, your man.
Hey. Watch your backs! Here goes nothing. Hey. Watch your backs! Watch your backs!
It goes into that more traditional anime look and feel, which we'll actually get into in the other stage that we're going to be showing today.
Sure. And then the other thing I noticed is it's not your traditional, third person walking around. This is a strategy element to the game, or?
Yeah, it has some kind of elements of a real-time strategy. So think about, like, you're able to take and dispatch your infantry and go into little overworld battles where, depending on which type of characters you dispatch, which leaders you have for different groups, it can change the course of how your battle functions. So in this demo, we're actually showing in the game, Evan and his crew, they need to find a place where they can set up their own kingdom. We recently announced that in Kuni II Revenant Kingdom, Evan's going to be creating his own kingdom called Evermore. So right now they're in the world, and they're saying, oh, we can go ahead and build our country over here, but there's a bunch of pesky bandits, so he has to go through and get
clear
rid
out the
all those
land
guys.
of bandits,
Yeah,
pretty much.
and it's a nice way for people to kind of get in and see how there's different functions that you can do. You're rotating your characters with the L1 and R1 buttons on the controller, and then there's different advantages to having different types of characters up in your lead point. Right now I'm trying to make sure that all my archers stay in the back so that they can still attack while not being taken down by the enemies in front of them. But you can also speed up your attacks and charge at them. It's pretty cute. I like it.
Yeah. Are you controlling your armies in real time, or are they just following you?
Yeah, you're controlling them in real time. So you're navigating throughout the planes. You're rotating them as you see fit, and making all the different commands to make them do various attacks.
That is really cool. That definitely brings another element to this game. I thought it would be just a straight up JRPG, but bringing this brings a level of variety to the game.
Yeah, it really gives you a nice sense of feeling that you are a king that's commanding a group of people. I mean, the simulation of becoming a king and ruling over your own kingdom is very prevalent in Ni no Kuni 2.
Now, are you just controlling Evan the entire time you're doing these types of battles, or are you able to switch between the different characters?
So right now in this one, you're going to have Evan as a central point. If you see the two different characters that are on the side, you're able to dispatch different allies that will go out with you and will have different types of attacks. So right now, I'm going to execute a special tactic. If I can just open up the thing. I can call in some airstrikes thanks to one of the guys that I have dispatched in my group.
This truly does feel like a strategy game right now. That is pretty cool. So the armies you're controlling, they're just fodder pretty much. They're not like specific characters in the story or anything. They're not like soldiers you find or talk to or anything like that.
Well, each of the guys that you see in the bottom corner, they're specific characters. So as you go through the world of Ni no Kuni, Evan's going to be looking for and recruiting different people to become citizens of Evermore. And as you go out to different battles, each person has different types of abilities, so you get to choose exactly how you want to be fighting in these areas. It's not just like you go out and it's a preset menu. You're actually getting to choose, and there's flexibility.
Gotcha. And as you're going further and further into this level, it's getting more and more detailed. Like first you started out in this open field, now you're behind these encampments. You got these archers coming down on you. It's pretty interesting how the battles evolve. Oh, called in another airstrike. What are those? Are those flying turtles or?
They're Sky Pirate planes.
Oh,
so,
okay.
The characters that you have, they are part of the Sky Pirates crew.
I see. And I don't know if you can discuss this. Is there a story element to why he's getting into these battles other than hey, he's got to clear the land? Is there something that I guess precedes before you get into the first type of encounter like this?
Well, I mean, like, contextually, it makes a lot of sense that this is at the first point where Evan's going to start building his kingdom. So both Skirmish, which is this mode, and Kingdom mode, which is the simulation kingdom development, where you can do a lot of those things that you would expect in an RPG, like being able to research new magic, new attacks, a bunch of different other items that we've actually yet to unveil. But it makes a lot of sense for right when he's trying to decide exactly what land he's going to be setting up shop. That this is where you learn about this function.
Gotcha. And are your armies upgradable? Like, are you able to upgrade your archers with stronger bows? Are you able to upgrade your soldiers with better armor?
Yeah. No. There's a lot of different. There's different types of infantry that you're able to dispatch. In this one, there's only the archers and the foot soldiers. But as you see in the top right corner, there is an element of a bit of rock, paper, scissors.
I see that, yeah.
That will really kind of dictate which enemies you're more advantageous against. And when you go into the full game, right now there's only 2 different groups that you're utilizing, but you can utilize up to 4. So there's a lot of strategy in being able to choose the right group that you set out with. And I believe today we released a bunch of new content, like we put out our making of video,
yes.
And there was a couple cuts of footage that we also provided, and one of them is a longer form skirmish battle that you can see where you're actually going in, you're fighting some wyverns, and you can actually be pretty dynamic as you progress through. But,
yeah,
this one's a great way of just kind of, coaxing people in and making sure that they understand what the gameplay flow feels like.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll be able to see those on the Bandai Namco social media channels. You'll see them. You can definitely check them out on our YouTube channel. We'll have posts about them on Twitter, Facebook, etc. So that was the army battles.
Yep.
Now we are going to get into something a bit more traditional in terms of Ni no Kuni 2. We're going to get into the Wyvern battle.
Yeah, so this is a great way of being able to see how some of the instance battles occur in the overworld, but then also jumping into a dungeon and fighting a mid-scale boss.
I'm excited to see this. I have not. So this. I don't know if I want you to. Will this be a boss battle? Will there be a boss battle, or is it just enemies like fodder? I guess we're gonna find out.
Oh, in this?
Yeah, in this
stage?
demo here, in this one here.
Oh, that's what I just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
Hey.
So we get a little bit of dialogue here.
Yeah, so in the story at this point, basically Roland and Evan, they've met the Sky Pirates, and Batu, who's the head of the Sky Pirates, is letting him know about his adopted daughter Tani, who has been recently abducted by a group of wyverns. And basically the group, they saw like, oh, the wyverns have come through and they've stolen Tani, and well, she's gone now. And Evan and Roland really decide that this is unacceptable. We're gonna go and save her. So that's what our mission at hand is right now.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now we're back into the chibi versions here.
Hey.
Do you prefer chibi, or you just call him something else?
I mean, like, I watch a lot of anime, and if I was to look at these, I'd definitely be like, oh, they're chibi. They're small body, big head, super cute. One of the things you can't really tell while just watching the video, but these little sparkly items you're able to walk through and collect different pieces, either gold that you can use for spending, or different items that are used for crafting within your kingdom. And a lot of games, like, you'll see items, you have to walk up, you got to press a button to be able to actually pick up the item, but you just walk through them in this one. So it's actually kind of nice. You're just going from piece to piece and give me all the things.
So here we see a little bit of the combat. I don't know if you remember last time, Steven, but Roland had a different sword the last time we played, the first time we did the quick look.
Yeah. No, there's different swords and different weapons that you're able to equip to all the different characters.
Nice. Okay, so that is customizable.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Yeah, and one of the screenshots we actually put out today, there's also different costumes that you're able to equip. So we just showed one image, and it's of Evan wearing Oliver's costume. Oliver being...
From the first Nino... That's right, I saw he was wearing the blue tunic, right? Yeah. That looks so cool. That is a nice callback to the first Nino. What just happened there? That was a lot of exploding.
So when you're in a battle, there is... Higgledies that will accompany you. And the different Higgledies have different abilities that they're able to utilize. So I was just using one of the dark elemental Higgledies, and they provide a dark matter attack. But when you see those circles of influence that you can walk into, there's an icon that lets you know that you can press a button, and as you do that, then the Higgledies will take on those commands. But then also at the same time, throughout the battle, they'll do different things to kind of draw aggro, and they're almost like your passive party member. So in this demo, you can only play as Evan, but in the full game, you're able to switch between all of your other party members on the fly. So if there's a full game, I could switch directly over to Roland, and once you get to a certain point in the game, you're able to have 2 other party members. So you'll have 3 people plus the Higgledies. It kind of makes it a full set of 4.
Cool. One thing I did notice while you're traversing around this area is the scale of the map looks huge in this game.
Yeah, no, it's really big, and it's gorgeous. Like being able to walk through and just see this world that, right now it has a very mountainous desert kind of look and feel, but there's a lot of different world environments that really creates a lot of variety for your adventures and exploration in Yumikini.
Yeah, referencing back to the video that we put up, the behind the scenes, it actually Hino-san, he talks a lot about Golden Paw in that video, which is another area on the maps, right? So
yeah,
a lot of variety.
Yeah, that place, it's actually, they modeled it after, if you check out the first behind the scenes Enter the Anime video that we put out, there's a little bit more information about it, but it's cool because they referenced Taiwan when thinking about the design, so like thinking about like night markets, stuff like that. And the team actually went there and did a lot of creative explorations to make sure that the visual aesthetic really met what they were trying to achieve. I think it's pretty cool in how the team really focuses on research in the way that they handle their creativity and creation.
Definitely. Bringing back to the map, actually, I don't know if you know, but we actually just opened up a special promo where if you pre-order the game on the Bandai Namco store, and we'll have a link in the description of the video, you're actually able to get a full, or like a replica of the map of the world. It's a pretty nice looking map, sturdy. It's definitely got that old school feel to it. So if you're into that, be sure to check it out. On the description, just click the link and you'll be able to see the map on the Bandai Namco store.
Yeah,
Definitely check it out.
It's a nice little bonus for getting the collector's edition.
Yes, yeah. So if you pre-order the collector's edition of the game from the Bandai Namco store, you'll be able to get it. And we'll have like a little slide at the end showing you what it looks like and stuff like that, so you'll be able to check it out and see if that's something you're into. But I highly recommend it if you are a completionist or a collector. So now you are battling mini rivers?
Yeah, so, when you get into battles, as you saw, like, you're walking on the map, you can identify enemies that are there, and you can either walk into them to be able to jump into battle, or you can simply run away and avoid them if that's what you need to do at the time.
One thing I noticed is the enemies actually appear on the map, so there are no random battles, or how do the battles work? You're always able to see the enemies on the map?
Yeah, there's no like, walk through a field and then just like a random, screen crash and it goes into a battle. You're going to know if you're going to go into one in the overworld. When you're inside of a dungeon, all the battles are seamless. So you're actually going from one battle to another. There's no like result screen or, victory screen. It just kind of continues from one to another.
And you were talking about the party members earlier. I think we revealed 2 more party members, right, in the latest video. There's, I can't remember her name. She's kind of a mechanic.
Bracken.
And, that's right.
Zip Vector.
Yeah. And so the second character, what was it? I can't pronounce it.
Zip Vector?
Zip Vector, yeah. At first I thought he was a bad guy. Looking at the old videos, if you guys seen any of the old videos, he's the guy with the glasses typing on the computer. But he actually is part of your team at one point?
You're going to have to experience the game to be able to find out more about these characters.
Okay.
It's kind of it's a little difficult, like when thinking about like promotions for Ni no Kuni, where it's like there's a lot of characters that we want to give visibility to, but then at the same time, like one of the major joy points is really the discovery of story, and we want to make sure that we're not necessarily throwing out too many spoilers for people.
Agreed. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm just excited about the game, like the characters in the story, and the character design is just amazing in this thing. Like all of them have these really intricate costumes. Evan's cape, just super detailed, and each one has like their own personality. I love it. Are we getting close to the boss? I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to rush past these other guys so I can get into the dungeon. Let's see. Distract you.
Oh, is he gonna catch you?
Nope. I got fast little legs.
Oh,
what happened? Where'd he go?
Classic video game enemies. They just stop. Now we just go in there, rescue Tani, and we're done, right? Call it a day.
Yeah, so easy, right?
That's the way it should be. I think that's the way it goes. Although if you're walking into a cave that's made out of ribs, I don't know. That's questionable.
Yeah, so as you can see, we've entered into a dungeon,
yes.
and it's taken on that more anime look and feel. And if there was any enemy battles to be had before you entered or approach the boss, you would actually just run into them, take them down, and continue forward. But once you go into this dungeon in particular, you're going straight into the boss battle.
I still can't get over how smooth the frame rate is. Like, I haven't seen a drop. No stutter. It's just fluid, I guess is the best way I can describe it.
I mean, that's something that's really important when you figure that, one of the main objectives of the team is to create an experience that really bleeds the line between a video game and a theatrical experience.
Yes.
So there was a lot of care taken into just that pacing and quality standard to make sure that you can become immersed and there's no jarring moments that are really going to pull you out of that fantasy.
One thing I'm also loving is the music by Joe Hisaishi.
Joe Hisaishi?
Hisaishi, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I was thinking of a different character in a fighting game. But yes, him. It's epic. Is the best way I can describe it, I guess. Do you have any tidbits you can give us about the music? Was he pumped about it? Did he like working on the project?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very collaborative effort with all the talent that came together for Ni no Kuni 2. I mean, we're so lucky to be able to, have the, Joe Hisaishi back and lending, his talents to this game. It was very essential in how the quality of the first game really came together, and the fact that he's been involved in so many Ghibli projects before that, it really helps establish an experience that is something really special. And he utilized he worked with the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra to do all of the recording for all the in-game music.
Oh, okay, wow. I didn't know that. All right, that's awesome. What kind of style would you say this game's music is? Is it more like operatic? Is it smooth jazz, country?
Well, I mean, the music does have a very theatrical feel to it, but when creating a soundtrack to a game, there is a lot of differences in how you would compose something, say for like an orchestra or for a movie or television. There's different things that you have to consider when crafting that type of music.
Yeah, I mean, the music sets the tone for the game, and you want to make sure that it, they both work well with each other. Let's talk about this battle here. So this is why did he kidnap Tani, by the way? I don't know if you can go into that or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Wyverns feel that this is their territory. So I'm not going to say exactly why they kidnapped Tani.
Sure.
That's,
once again, discovery is what we want. Is important. Don't want to spoil. Okay, fair enough. And it looks like you're halfway through with this guy.
Yep.
I think I just saw your buddy Lofty come up. Am I missing something, or was that just one of the Higgledies that looks like Lofty?
That was probably one of the
Higgledies?
Sunform Higgledies.
Ah, okay. Can you talk about a little bit of what just happened there?
So if you stun an enemy at the right point, you're able to go into an awakened state where you're able to have overpowered attacks, and you can utilize multiple special attacks without having to utilize what would have normally been one of those blue gems that you see above the life bar. Every time you're doing physical attacks, it helps fill up those gems, but every time you want to use a special attack or one of your skills, then it's going to require you to continue to hit people and make sure that you have those blue orbs.
I see. The other thing, obviously, I think people have noticed is the combat's very different compared to Ni no Kuni 1. Ni no Kuni 1 was turn-based combat. This is all real-time. Which do you prefer? What feels better?
So, I mean, I love turn-based RPGs. I think that, you know, the previous Ni no Kuni was kind of a hybrid. You know, there was open movement, but when you brought up your action palette, basically, it would freeze the game, so you could make choices of, you know, what type of attack you want to do, if you want to switch to one of the familiars or one of your other party members. So I think this one actually, it feels very modern. It is a nice way of, it feels balanced in how you have different things that you're thinking about, whether it's like what are the different things that Higgledies can do, what is the skill set that Roland has or Tawny has, or whatever your whoever your other party members are. So I think that it actually is it's a nice graduation to a new gameplay style that I think people will really dig.
Now, you mentioned you're able to switch between characters. When you switch between the characters, are you still able to control the Higgledies in combat?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you know, no matter who your lead point is, they're able to engage with the Higgledies, and if they're offering up an attack skill, then anyone can activate them.
Careful.
That was pretty good. The Higgledy flew up there and cut her down. That was dope. Not only do they attack, they protect. Are there advantages or disadvantages to using one character instead of another one?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, there's different flexibilities on, you know, the types of weapons that they have, their equipped, so it all depends on a bit of your play style and the enemies that you're facing.
What do you think of the voice cast? I know we're going to have dual audio. We're going to have the English voice actors, and then we're going to have the Japanese voice actors as well, which we actually just had a video with the behind the scenes with the Japanese voice acting team. Which do you prefer?
I like them both. I think that, you know, the localization that was done on the voices, it feels very immersive, and it feels extremely appropriate, especially given that, you know, there was a voice cast from the first game that, you know, people highly regarded. So the fact that, you know, we're able to meet that same caliber again, I think is really great. But also knowing that, you know, there's a really great Japanese voice cast that has also been working on this title, and they're equally as juiced about it as we are.
The guy that plays Batu in Japanese is on point, by the way.
Yeah.
You gotta watch that video. Like, that rough voice he has, I'm like, man, this guy is like perfect for the role. And then to counter that, actually, Evan in the English version perfectly cast.
やっぱりこう時代としてよりアクション性が高く、かつなんていうんですかね、指にそのまんまこう吸い付くような操作感というか、やっぱりそういう世界共通のやっぱりこう楽しさというか、そういうものをやっぱりこうやる上では1よりもう一段階アクション性を高めるべきか否かっていうようなところで、結構長いことスタッフ一同悩んできまして、
主人公のエヴァン自体がやっぱりその2の国を統一していくというか、王となって、国を作っていくっていうところはストーリー中やっぱり大きなキーとしてあったものなので、まあ、何回か形は変わってはいるんですけど、そのキングダムモードっていうところで国を作るっていう部分はゲームシステムに大きく反映されているものだと思います。まあ、自分の国を作るんですけど、各その冒険で立ち寄る町から人をスカウトしてきて、それを自分の国の人材として登用して、国を発展させていくと。で結果ですね、それをすることで、例えばその武器の開発ができたり、新しい船を作れたり、魔法の習得ができたりとか、冒険にその関わる主人公たちのサポートをその国を大きくすることでやっていくということができます。例えば具体的なところで言うと、物語中船を作らないといけなかったりとか、あとは飛行船を作らなきゃいけないっていう時にはやっぱりその国の施設を使って、そこで作るみたいな。
Building our new kingdom won't be easy, but we will build it. A beautiful, bountiful kingdom where everyone can live happily ever after.
2の国を冒険する上で、国同士のやり取りっていうのがあると思うんですけども、やっぱりそれで一つ表現したかったのが、その軍団同士の戦いっていうのを、ゲームの中で表現したくて、それで入ったのが新軍バトル。普段はそのエヴァンとかローランとかシャーティっていうその6人のキャラクターを、アクションでプレイするんですけど、新軍バトルでは軍を指揮するのはエヴァンが指揮するんですけども、そのローランやシャーティ以外のスカウトしたキャラクターたちっていうのを使って4部隊引き連れてバトルをするという形になってます。ダンジョンに行ったり、アクションバトルしたりシングルモードしたりっていうので、キングダムポイントっていうのが溜まっていって、でそのポイントを使って人材を使って新しい施設を建てたりとか、その施設の機能を拡張したりとかっていうことができるようになってるので、エヴァンの全部の行動っていうのがそのキングダムのところに紐づいてくるっていう。でキングダムを設置すれば冒険がどんどん有利になっていくよっていうような仕組みになってますね。
It's nothing personal. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Here it is, Evan.
My dearest friend.
Evan.
We're really highlighting in at E3 was the fact that the Higgledies are almost like your fourth party member.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that they're able to do to be able to assist you, based on situations, things that they do on their own, things that you can command them to do. So really excited to show everyone.
Rockin'. So while we were talking, we actually heard someone talk over us. That was Tani, one of the Sky Pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little more background on her?
So you meet Tawny pretty early in the story. It's shortly after both Evan and Roland escape from Ding Dong Dell during the coup.
Okay.
So Tawny is the adopted daughter of the leader of the Sky Pirates. She's a tomboy, very impulsive. She is a person of action that is all about, like, you know, you will prove who you are by showcasing who you are by what you do.
Got it.
So in the story, Tawny is along with Roland, they're both really supporting Evan in his journey to become king again. And in this section, they're actually going to an area where they're going to be able to make a contract with their Kingsmaker.
Okay. And what's a Kingsmaker?
Kingsmaker is there is, for every person that is a king in Evan's world, there is a Kingsmaker that basically they make a bond together and they signify that person's right to be a king within this kingdom.
It's kind of getting approval to become like a full-fledged king.
Yeah, or it's kind of proof of their ability to be a king.
I see. Okay. And I actually want to go back really fast. You while we were talking, we also entered like a chibi-sized world map. Is that like a design choice that they did? Because I noticed now we have human-like proportions in our characters again. While we were on the map, we were kind of small, very old-school JRPG feel to it.
So when playing the game, like, so there's two distinctive design styles that you're going to notice.
Okay.
One is the very anime-looking character designs that you see right before us right now.
Yeah.
And they appear when you're in towns, if you're in a dungeon, and there's also the other version, which is like kind of, it's an overworld. So in between different countries, as you're traveling to these different worlds, you actually drop down into this little chibi form. And within that world, there's, you know, instance battles and a bunch of other little little gameplay mechanics that appear.
Interesting. So it's not just exploring.
Yeah, it's not just exploring, and it's purposeful in that, you know, the design team, they wanted to be able to showcase that kind of juxtaposition of like these kind of lush, realistic world environments against this more traditional animation style dungeons that you're able to encounter.
Got it. Okay, so design choice, nice. And I'm guessing this is the trial that we're going to have to face.
Yes. So, and within this trial, actually, there's a couple different activities that you do, but for the demo specifically, it's fighting against this character, Dog.
And he's one of the Kingsmakers, right?
No, he is a part of the Trial of Courage. So, in defeating Thog, Evan is able to showcase his ability to be king. So it's a test of his courage and bravery.
Got it. And there we have the Higgledies, those small little guys that have different, I guess, elemental properties that can be used to help you, right?
Yes. So if you see like the fire Higgledies, they're throwing little swords over at Thog right now. The water guys are throwing some water attacks. So there's things that they'll do on their own, but if you see these Higgledies here, they're giving me an opportunity to be able to boost my attack power. Same with the wind Higgledies. If they give me an opportunity, I believe they will give me a shield buff.
It's very cool. Like, if you're in that vicinity, that's how they work. I always thought you used like the right analog stick to control it, but no, they move on their own.
Yeah, so they have their own sensibilities in looking at what's going on in the battles, and you can tell there's always a leader to each of the groups, and the leaders are kind of signified by the. They'll have like a little neck charm. Like if you look at the wind Higgledies here, he has like a little cape around him. Or on the fire ones, there's a guy, he has a little bulldog collar. And they're called Higgledy Heroes.
Okay.
So the Higgledy Heroes are almost like the generals of these little groups. So they're like saying, hey, come over here, we can give you a little bit of assistance, and then boosted my attack power.
That is some crazy attention to detail. I didn't even notice that when I played the E3 demo originally, that some of them have like a collars or a charm around their neck. That is cool. Can you customize these Higgledy heroes, or they kind of just do their own thing?
We don't have any information on customization for the heroes, but there's a lot of cool information that's in the pipe. So I think this is a great first outing for people to be able to get a glimpse at these cute little sprites and seeing how they interact with you in the game.
Definitely.
And if you saw right there, so when you press the R2 button, you can bring up your different skills. So there's physical attacks, there's magic attacks, but if you hold down the button when you're doing that, you can actually use the different Higgledies to add additional elemental buffs to it. So if I'm doing a regular special slash, it's going to just have physical damage like that. But if I go ahead and charge it, then I can start adding in fire, water, wind, and then when I do the attacks, oh, actually I was doing a heal right there. Should have paid attention.
And do you have to be within the specific Higgledy's vicinity in order to charge the attack, or you can do it from anywhere?
No, they'll come towards you as you're charging.
I see.
But you do have to hold down the charge for a little bit of time. The longer you hold it, the more different Higgledies will start to join in.
Okay. I'm really impressed by these graphics. The art style is just amazing in this game, and it just runs so smooth. It's going to be a crazy RPG once it's all done. I noticed there's like these blue orbs by your life bar there. Do you know what those do?
So if you look up at the life bar at the top,
some golden thing just popped out.
Get back here.
What is that?
So when you collect one of these, it's when at certain points, if you interrupt the enemy that you're fighting, it'll give you one of these orbs that makes you super overpowered for a short period of time. So you see that gold bar that's up at the top.
Yes.
So that's showing how much time I have to actually utilize this, and you can actually chain it multiple times. So I'm like, oh, give me another one of those gold guys.
So it can actually shorten the battles.
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of those things that it's not required for you to be able to, like, you don't have to be able to execute them to be able to win, but it does assist you in getting through battles quicker because you're attacking with much more power.
Got it.
But going back to the blue orbs, so as you're doing physical attacks, you see those little gems that are above the life bar?
Yes.
As if I want to do a physical attack or a magical attack, every time I do that, it's going to cost me one of those little pieces.
Okay.
But I can refill those by going and doing some physical attacks against them.
I see. Okay. And that's how. So it doesn't recharge over time. You actually have to perform physical attacks in order to charge those the spheres up.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. And it looks like you're almost done with this battle. The golden overpowered mode really helped you out.
Yeah, and with this demo, we wanted to make sure that we were simplifying, since there's a lot of new concepts that we're showing people, we wanted to simplify some of the gameplay. So rather than being able to swap between Roland and Tawny, this demo locks you to just play as Evan.
Okay.
But in the full game, you're able to switch with your other party members on the fly.
Nice. I was going to ask about that if I wanted to like switch to Roland.
You're going down, dog.
Wow. And there it is. Man, the character design is just ridiculous.
He's so adorable for a giant enemy.
Right? Mission clear. All right, one down, one to go.
We did it, Evan. We beat
that horrible lump.
He's not that horrible.
I know, right? He's very cute.
And if we pass the trial.
So then we see Roland. Can you tell us a little bit more about Roland?
So Roland comes from a completely different world. He ends up showing up in Evan's world kind of during the commotion of the coup that's occurring in Ding Dong Dell. And Roland in his own world, he's much older. He's probably in his mid-40s, late 40s.
So he appears younger when he's...
Yeah, he comes over to this world. He's strangely, he's much younger, and he, in his own world, is a president of his own country.
That might help Evan out a little bit.
It's kind of why he decided to stay in Evan's world, is that he sees a lot of himself in Evan and sees that, you know, Evan has a lot of potential to be a great leader. So he decides that he's going to stay in Evan's world and help mentor and groom him to become a king.
Gotcha.
And that's a big theme throughout Ni no Kuni 2 is that, you know, your story, in this case Evan, but the idea that your story is crafted by the bonds and connections of all those that are around you, whether positive or negative. So when you have there's some villainous characters like Otto Mausinger. There's positive characters like Auntie Martha and the Higgledies. There's all these, there's all these different characters that will really shape Evan as he grows to become a king.
I see. Yep. So it sounds like it's a coming of age story for him.
Exactly.
Yeah. What it takes to become a king, a good king. Got it. All right, on to the next one, Longfang. I'm excited for this one. I've seen the opening cutscene. It looks amazing. I think we should just sit back and let people enjoy it.
Yeah, this takes place in an area that right after Evan makes his king's bond with his kingmaker.
Lofty, right?
Lofty. They end up traveling to this country called Goldpaw. And in this world, there's it's a casino town, and that's Longfang. He's the guardian or the kingmaker for that country.
I see. Okay.
And for some reason, he starts acting very aggressive towards Evan and his party. They believe that something nefarious is going on, so they end up having to take him on in an epic battle in a volcano.
I saw that thing at the bottom, Butcher, Baker, Kingmaker. What is that? Is that just his titles?
It's kind of just that, you know, for people who've played the first Ni no Kuni, they'll be happy to know that the team that, you know, was involved in the localization of the first game is also heavily involved in this one. So a lot of the nuance that they give to the localization is it's very similar and has that element of, even though nostalgia usually don't play for games that are, you know,
I would say wittiness.
Yeah, no, I mean it's something that's very unique to Ni no Kuni itself.
Definitely. And there we see Lofty at the bottom of the screen. He's giving Evan advice, or
yeah, he's a part of the party, so he ends up acting a bit as a, you can almost think like a Jiminy Cricket. Like he's a bit of a comic relief. He does a bit of story narration and gives a bit of guidance to some of the elements that otherwise wouldn't really be described to you in the story. So he plays that kind of character. It's almost like I think of him as a character in a play, that their purpose is to guide themes and also provide that fun and comic relief.
It seems to be a common theme within this game is for Evan to have guidance. I mean, you have Roland, Tani, they all provide a different type of guidance. It's really interesting to see that. And that's an interesting accent Lofty has.
Yeah, I want to say that it's a Welsh accent?
Yeah. For those that played Ni no Kuni 1, there was Mr. Drippy also had a Welsh accent. Is he related to Mr. Drippy at all?
No relation.
No relation.
Yeah.
Got it.
So one of the things that I mentioned before about the Higgledies is how, given different situations, they might provide different opportunities to Evan. So in this case, there's you're in a volcano. There's a lot of different fire elements that you have to look out for, whether it's from Longfang himself or if it's from the volcano itself. So
you are about to die. I think you need to heal up.
I need to find those wind Higgledies need to help me out.
Yeah, there you go.
So the fire Higgledies know that if in this environment that, you know, it's that their power element is actually something that could be really helpful to Evan. So they will give you opportunities to be able to erect barriers that give you complete nullification from fire damage.
Interesting. So I just saw a green orb or shield form around you. What was that from?
That was from the wind Higgledies. So they're able to give you a buff that's going to help with shielding and defense.
Got it. The other thing I noticed during this battle, it's very strategic. You can't just hack and slash Longfang. He backs up, he comes forward, casts different attacks. You have to really use all elements of gameplay here. You have to use the Higgledies, you have to use Evan.
Yeah, the battles are pretty dynamic in that...
Super dynamic.
You know, there's a lot of different things that you need to keep your eye on. Like, in this case, like, you know, the Fire Higgledies are going to give me an opportunity to have a fire barrier, and I don't get any of that damage from Breath of Fire that he does. And those little fire rocks, they'll explode if you don't do anything about them.
So yeah, that's what I was actually going to ask you about. Why are you destroying the fire rocks that come down? Is there a purpose for that?
It will, there's the, I meant to do an attack there. There is the orbs to be able to do your special attack. So not only is there a danger for having those fire blocks there where they can explode and they can give you damage if like he breathes fireball at them, but it also helps you build up some of your orbs again.
I see. This is a really tough battle. I remember playing it at E3 and I thought I was just going to breeze through. I was like, oh, they made this demo for E3 just so people could pass it. I got smoked so many times, no pun intended. It was, like, it took a lot of strategy. I can't stress that enough. And with the real-time battle system also comes a lot of, like, more different moves. You're able to jump now during combat. You're able to roll. Once you take out those red rocks, is that what refills the blue spheres here?
Yeah, if you see anytime I destroy one of those rocks, there's I think three little orbs will pop out.
Gotcha. So I'm guessing once you defeat Longfang, and I don't know if you can really go into this, does he, start helping you out? Is he vital to the story?
You're just gonna have to get the game
and find out.
Yep, exactly.
I figured that's the answer you'd give me. Fair enough. There's obviously a reason for fighting him, so I'm sure we'll find out down the line. Can you talk about like how many different Higgledies are we going to get? Are we going to see more than what we see here? Or is that another question where it's find out down the line?
It's like I said, there's a lot of really cool elements about the Higgledies that we've yet to share.
Excellent. Okay.
But that's one of the great things about working in video games is that, especially with something as wonderful as Ni no Kuni, there's so much stuff in here that we just can't wait to share with our audience.
We've barely scratched the surface.
Exactly.
Definitely. Longfang's design, is that like he looks like one of those Chinese dragons, like a dog, a lion?
Yeah.
Lion, I think it's a lion.
It's kind of lion, kind of dog.
Definitely a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell this is a time-intensive battle.
Yes.
One other thing I've noticed is each of the characters have different weapons. I don't even know if I should ask this. Are you going to be able to equip different weapons on the characters? I'm pretty sure I answered my own question, and we'll find out later on. But I did notice that in the demo that they all have different weapons.
No, and it's true that they have different weapons. There's different. Roland has he has a long sword. He also has a gun that he's able to use.
Right, I did see that in the cutscene. That's where I was actually heading towards, was the fact that Roland, he uses a sword, but I've seen him in a cutscene with a gun, with a strap. So that's really interesting, bringing a gun into this world. It still blows me away the amount of detail level 5 is putting in the game. You see like the marks on Long Fang's scales there and his broken claws. And even when Long Fang's at a distance, you're still able to cast spells and attack him.
Yeah, you have magical spells that you're able to utilize, and with those as well, like same with your other attacks, you're able to charge them through multiple attacks in his direction.
Would you say Evan's more cat or more person?
He is half and half.
Half and half, okay. Does his race have a name? Or is it just cat people?
I want to say it's catfolk.
Catfolk, I think I've heard that, yeah. I'm really digging Roland's hairstyle with the ponytail. He's bringing it back. You don't see it too often, but he works it with the suit. I like that. And one other thing I've noticed is the design choice of the characters really brings out their personality. Like you could tell Connie's a tomboy. She's got, you know, her two pigtails just sticking out. They're not like braided or anything. She's just wild. She looks wild. And Roland's like buttoned up and suited, eloquent looking, if you will. Could definitely tell he's a president. Oh, 5 minutes remaining. Are you going to be able to do it, Steven? If you don't hear me talking, it's because I'm trying to let Steven focus on the last part of the battle. Like I said, it gets really tough, and it's hard for him to focus and talk to me at the same time.
I'm trying to just see like all of the different areas I need to be looking out for. Look at those.
Yeah, no, like I said, these battles, especially an epic one, or as one as big as this, there's a lot going on. He's got to dodge the stones.
Help me, Higgledies, help me.
He's got to ask the Higgledies for help. And he's also got to listen to me talk about Roland's hairstyle. So there's a lot going on for Steven. I really respect the work that he's doing right now. It takes a lot.
Well, that's the cool thing with this, you know, with the different spells that you're able to cast. Like, you know, I can keep track of my own health and I can heal on my own. Mm-hmm. It's just making sure that I'm, again, keeping track of all those different things that can be going on at one time.
Got it. Even during the cutscene, you're able to attack him. That is interesting. So what's strange to me is we were at Golden Paw one moment, and then like were we phased into another dimension, or is this still Golden Paw and he just wrecked it? It's hard to say. I guess it's a rhetorical question for myself because I'm pretty sure you don't even know that yet. You know, it just seems like he came down and all of a sudden you're here. It almost seems like it's his like domain that he lives in.
3 minutes remaining.
I think you got this. I think you're able. I believe in you, Steven. So yeah, we're just having Steven finish this up. It's almost done here. It's almost taken Longfang out. I believe he's gonna do it. I've seen him do it at E3. So as you can tell, not gonna be an easy game. I'm sure this ramps up. I'm sure this is a battle later on. But yeah, battles like this, it is a fully fledged RPG. It's like, you know, it may have a dare I say it, kiddie aesthetic, but there's a lot to it. And it'll ramp up and it'll teach you things. You're not going to go in there blind just fighting Longfang from the beginning.
Well, I think the one thing to think about is that, you know, the aesthetic is very much like most, when you think about most Ghibli style films or Pixar films, Disney films, there's something that's very ageless and timeless.
I like the fact that you mentioned Pixar, where it caters to kids, but there's like a lot of adult jokes. So it's like it's for general audiences. You know, there's jokes that adults will get, but kids can watch it too. And I think this is an analog for that, where kids can check out the cool visuals and the cool, like, you know, animated art style. Congratulations, Steven. But adults will enjoy like the combat, you know, and the depth of the game. So there we go. Mission clear. I knew you could do it, Steven. I had faith in you. Let's check out this after cutscene.
Longfang doing attacking his own kingdom?
That is a good question, Tani.
His king's bond's been pinched, isn't it? Which means he's not a king.
What does he mean by pinched? Stolen? That's what you know, like, I guess the Welsh term, pinched.
I guess so.
Yeah.
If we don't get it back, and soon, your world's in big trouble.
Roland, man, he's just a sharp dresser. I like the scrunchie. He's rocking that.
Sure we do. Just
very unique character designs. Evan doesn't really have a hairstyle that I would rock, but he makes it work with the cat ears.
I know it will be difficult, but if there's even a chance.
Very determined looking as Evan.
And ascendancy, and I mean, these are heavy subjects, even though this game has such a beautiful, colorful aesthetic.
A very lighthearted feel.
It's still, there's you know, at the core, it's a very...
role-playing games that they do. So taking a cue from their partnership with different people that collaborated on the games, on the original Ni no Kuni and on Revenant Kingdom, it really goes into working with people who have worked on just great animated masterpieces like Studio Ghibli films.
Right.
So because of that, that kind of coming-of-age story that really translates through, you know, young kids, parents, adults, everyone can kind of relate to it. There's kind of those threads that go through both the original Ni no Kuni and Ni no Kuni 2 as well.
So now we got the demo going already. I mean, easily gorgeous game.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So thank you for pushing the PlayStation 4 forward into the future.
Yes.
But yeah, tell me a little bit about this demo, because this is kind of new footage that we're seeing here.
Exactly. So for this, at this point in the game, Evan has to pass a trial of courage in order to earn the right to become a leader of a kingdom. And so this is the trial he's going to face. And so he's going to have to battle a really big gorilla. His name is Thog, and you're going to see him in here in a second. And so one of the things, so he will have to battle him to pass this trial. But one thing you're going to notice when you see this footage is that the battle system has been completely reimagined. Okay. So in the originals and those other characters, here everything runs in real time. So it's full action combat. Wow. You'll see right now, Evan, of course, he has a lot of different attacks at his disposal. So he's got different short range attacks. He can do combos. He has a wand for long range attacks. He can also cast or use special skills. And so those skills are all kinds of different magic effects. And then one new thing for in the battle system are those little sprite-looking characters. So
and they are called?
And they are called Higgledies.
Higgledies.
They're Higgledies.
I love that. Higgledies. I love them.
And so you can see they have kind of a mind of their own. So they have their own intelligence. They'll attack the enemies. They'll do different things. They'll distract them. But at the same time, there's kind of two main functions for them in battle. And so one of them is when you see that little light circle, that's when the Higgledies kind of gather together, and then you can give them a command, and then those commands that you can give them will buff your party. So they will either increase your defense, increase your attack, Sometimes they'll heal you. The fire ones, so the little orange-red ones, they'll put up a fire shield that will block most, or if not all, fire damage. And so, so that's one way that you can use the Higgledies. The other is when you're using skills, you can charge those skills, and then the Higgledies that are close to you, they will kind of jump in and they'll augment your skills. So if you have like a water ball attack, like a long-range attack, and then you have the fire Higgledies kind of jump in and augment it, then you'll do like a fire water ball attack. And
so much going on the screen right now.
They all have slight variations of their strengths and skills, and so you can definitely use the different characters that you want to use to battle the different bosses.
Nice.
Some of the fun little nuanced things as well is so all kind of real-time combat systems for role-playing games. You can block, of course, you can guard, but then one thing that they incorporated was also it has a just guard feature. That's not the official name, but that's what I'm calling it. So very much like in fighting games, in some fighting games, if you kind of tap that block or you tap block, at the right time, you can basically do a parry. Here it's not a parry, but you can basically negate damage if you do that and you get kind of a nice to show up. So there's lots of little nuances that they did to kind of incorporate the skill of the player while you're in battle without breaking the whole kind of leveling up system as well, because the action RPG's combat is really tough because you need the leveling and you need the progression of your characters to grow stronger as you play through. But then if you have control of your characters in like real-time combat, then a lot of times what you're doing doesn't really have a big effect on the outcome of the battles. It's usually okay, well, I'm strong enough, I'm leveled high enough, so I can spam attacks and just make my way through. So there's lots of little nuances that Level 5 took from adventure games and even some fighting games to where they worked that into the combat system.
That is excellent.
So here against Thog, so he's got him about what, 3/4 defeated right now.
I think we got this in the bag.
He's got it. And what's really fun is when you see like the bosses and all the enemies, all their animations and all the character that they have. It's so great because there's all these little details that you don't even notice. Like there's times where he'll kind of stop, he'll kind of scratch his head, and things that are not really necessary for the actual combat, but they're just fun little animations that help give character to not just your characters, but also to the bosses and the enemies and the Higgledies and everybody.
I almost don't even want to beat this boss because he's kind of cute in his own gorilla-like way. I mean, let's be honest. All right, I know you guys get asked this question a lot.
And old fans could enjoy Ni no Kuni too. So the story, the characters, even the world itself is different than the original, so you don't have to have played that first game in order to know kingdom to rule over. And so, of course, first he has to earn the right to become a leader of a kingdom again, but then after that, he ends up having to build a kingdom. And so that's where the story and basically where the player comes in. I mean, the player is controlling Evan all throughout anyway, but that's where everything kind of converges together, where Evan needs to build a kingdom. And so he needs to go to all the different kingdoms and talk to other characters and people in the world and kind of recruit them to come into his kingdom. And then that's where the player also gets to build their own kingdom and customize it. And you can task different townspeople to different tasks in your kingdom to build it up. And so you have full control over how you're customizing that kingdom as you move forward.
Nice, because that's what I liked about the first one. There was this heightened sense of progression. And I'm glad you guys are keeping that
exactly. So
二の国は、フィールドを大冒険する RPG なんですけども、その RPG ただの RPG ではなくていろんな要素があって、その一つ大きなものが、自分の国を、作っていくモーションアクションシーンもすごく、エキサイティングになっています。でそれに加えて今回はやっぱりキャラクターたちを、切り替えていろんな戦略が練れるというのと、あとはフニャという精霊のような、小さなキャラクターたちを使ってですね、敵のボスモンスターの動きを止めたりとか、そういう特別な技を使ったりとか、なんかサポートをすることによってサポートさせることによって、戦闘を有利に進めるという新しい試みがあります。今回は物語は全く二の国1とは違う物語となっておりますので、1本目を遊んでいなくても 完全に遊べるような状態になってます。ただまあ1本目を遊んでいるといろんなそういう物語の中に1本目を知っていると楽しめる要素もありますので、実際独立したものなので何の支障もなく楽しめると思います。
Such a beautiful kingdom. But then, beauty never lasts.
I see something in you. We all do.
A good king listens to his subjects, Evan.
There is one who brought the world together.
And who was that?
Ferdinand. Mighty Ferdinand.
You will return her to me. So long.
My plan is complete. Your king's bond is mine.
Time to make our pact. Here goes. Hold up the royal twig.
Well, Evan, what now? A quiet life in the mountains might not be such a bad idea, you know.
No. I've made up my mind.
Increase the taxes sixfold!
We've no need of love. Do you not agree?
My inventions will change the world.
What do you think you're doing?
You'll take my little darlings with you, of course.
Kneel before the king of Ding Dong Down.
We'll build it together. A kingdom we can all be proud of. I am Evan Pettiwhisker Tildrum, King of Ding Dong Dell. Who are you?
Never mind who. The question is where. They're here for you. We need to leave.
Here for me.
Can't you see? It's a coup!
This is the dawn of a new era. For all Ni no Kuni!
Evan, you'll be a wonderful king. I know you will.
But how? How can I?
I've made a decision. I'm staying here in this world. With you.
We serve you now, Your Majesty.
This is where it all begins, King Evan.
But Guardians are meant to protect things, not destroy them.
Something tells me it's not doing this by choice.
I won't give up. I'll never give up. I promised her. I'll build a kingdom where everyone can live happily ever after.